In this video, we are diving into some of the most insightful lessons on perfectionism. These are straight from incredible books that have changed the way people think about self-growth. Things that I'm going to talk about today are not just theories. These are actionable steps that can help you break free from the perfectionism trap and focus on progress instead. Ready to learn? Let's get started. Now, before we dive into books, let's talk about what perfectionism actually is. For me, perfectionism looked like having a beautiful picture but not being able to post because it's not perfect in some ways. Perfectionism sounds like a good thing, right? Striving to be your best, aiming for excellence. But what if I told you it is actually the very thing that stops you from growing? Today, I want to share with you lessons from some incredible books that have helped me understand perfectionism better and, more importantly, how to overcome it. Let's first identify the problem here. Perfectionism isn't just wanting to do well. It's wanting to do everything flawlessly all the time. And the sad part is perfectionism actually leads to procrastination or burnout. Why? Because the way a perfectionist thinks is that if something is not perfect, they'd rather not do it at all. I've been there. Once I delayed posting something that I'd worked really hard on just because I thought it wasn't good enough. The delay turned into anxiety, and the anxiety turned into self-doubt. Thomas nails it when he says perfectionism is fueled by societal pressure. We live in a world of highlighted reels, the perfect Instagram photos, and well-curated success stories. No one posts their failures. And when we measure ourselves against these polished versions of reality, it's no wonder we feel like we're falling short. Here's something that stood out for me. Ben Shahar explains that perfectionism sets us up for failure because the goalpost keeps moving. Even when we achieve something, we immediately focus on what's next. And by doing this, we're kind of dismissing the achievement as not enough. Instead, he suggests embracing a mindset that he calls optimalism. It's not about being perfect, it's about being human. Making mistakes, learning from them, and moving forward. Why this matters is because perfectionism doesn't lead to greatness, it leads to paralysis. And the irony is, growth is not about being flawless, it's about being willing to mess up and try again and again. What if, instead of chasing perfection, we chase progress? Think about it. Even a small step forward is still a step forward. Ong explains that perfectionism is very closely tied to anxiety. When we're fixated on doing everything perfectly, we set ourselves up for constant worry. But when we focus on progress, the pressure eases. She emphasizes on aligning our actions with our values instead of external standards. A year ago, I started applying these ideas to my own life by tracking small wins. For instance, instead of waiting for a final draft, I'd focus on starting and at least finishing a rough one. And guess what? The act of finishing gave me the momentum. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress, and that was enough to keep me moving. In The Pursuit of Perfect by Ben Shahar, he reminds us that growth is messy. The best things in life, whether it's building a career, learning a new skill, or forming relationships, they all come with mistakes. When you embrace progress, you make space for these mistakes without feeling like they define you. Let me summarize all the lessons that I've talked about. They're not just ideas, they're things that we can actually do to change the way we approach perfectionism. First is to track your wins. Start small. Write down one thing you did well today, no matter how small it feels. Over time, you'll see that these small wins add up to actual significant progress. Second, reframe mistakes. Instead of seeing failure as the end, think of it as part of the process. The one phrase that stuck with me was, every expert was once a beginner. Third, focus on what matters. You don't have to be perfect at everything. Choose the areas that truly align with your goals and values and let go of the rest. And last but not the least, self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness that you'd offer a friend. And it's totally okay to have some off days. These are not just some fluffy ideas, these are practical ways to shift your mindset and embrace progress. Perfectionism feels like it's pushing us forward, but it's actually holding us back. What we've learned from these books, The Perfection Trap, The Pursuit of Perfect, and The Anxious Perfectionist, is that growth happens when we embrace imperfection and focus on progress. I've tried these shifts in my life, and although they're not always easy, they're totally worth it. It's so relaxing once you finally accept that you don't need to be perfect to make progress. or you don't need to have everything figured out to start growing. If you're here till the end, thank you so much for watching this video. If these ideas resonated with you, give this video a like or share this video with your fellow perfectionists. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more personal growth content. See you next time. Bye.